into play.
A habit of falling out of this world's sky.
Norrin lives a quiet life, studying under the tutelage of the master of Zen law, along with his lady love, Shalabal. He is dissatisfied with his current life and dreams of one day exploring the galaxy just like their ancestors. Shalabal explains that there has been no need for space travel ever since the Enlightenment. She claims that rumors suggest he is to become the next master of Zen law, but Norrin argues that he can't even become a master of himself. Suddenly, their conversation is cut short when ships from Kree and the Skrull arrive. The Master introduces Captain Kalik of the Kree Empire and Commander Husserl of the Skrull Confederation as the newest students at the Academy. When they started arguing due to the bad blood between their races, Norrin confiscated their weapons and made them disappear. Out of nowhere, the all-knowing Watcher Uatu contacts Zenla and warns them of the impending doom that the Devourer of Worlds, Galactus, is fast approaching. He explains how he has gone against his oath never to interfere. The Master runs back inside and claims they need to perform the ceremony of outreaching, but even it was useless against Galactus. He tries to convince Galactus to spare them, having taught civilizations of harmony, balance, and peace, while asking nothing for themselves. Galactus brushes him off and continues absorbing the planet's energy. Kalik and Husserl believe that this is the time to fight, but the Master asks them both to take his students, worried that there is no stopping Galactus. Even with their combined attacks, it pale in comparison to Galactus' ship, which obliterated them with a mere energy wave. Norrin runs into the ruins of a museum and takes a rocket to see Galactus himself. Norrin confronts Galactus, but when he brushes him off, he offers a proposal. He claims that Galactus's constant search depletes his energy and suggests Norrin goes out into the sea of space to find new worlds for him to devour. Initially hesitant, Galactus agrees to his proposal and bestows upon him cosmic power to become his herald, the Silver Surfer. Before his drastic transformation, Norrin explains the situation to Shalabal, who is surprised by his proposal as it goes against everything they stand for. He argues that his position enables him to guide Galactus to uninhabited planets, thereby saving countless civilizations. After transformation, Silver Surfer loses all memories of Norrin. When he suggests feeding on Zenlaw, Galactus explains that he made a promise to an honorable man to spare it. That said, Silver Surfer flies by planets and past the galaxy in search of a world that his master can feed upon. Serving the mighty Galactus, Silver Surfer travels the vast cosmos in search of planets for the destroyer of worlds to consume. He later discovers a strange planet whose entire surface is artificial and deems it to have the necessary energy to satisfy his master's hunger. When he is about to call out to Galactus, the Draconians start shooting at him, having recognized him to be Silver Surfer, a herald of the destroyer of worlds. Even with thousands of turrets firing at him, Silver Surfer skillfully dodges them and destroys all of their turrets. The inhabitants are forced to evacuate when Galactus suddenly arrives and takes out giant metallic tentacles to drain the planet's energy. Galactus claims that he has never fed so well ever since Silver Surfer joined him as his herald. In response, Silver Surfer wonders when and why he joined him, but Galactus dismisses his questions. Galactus tells him to continue searching for planets, as he will become once again hungry. Elsewhere, two planets collide in a fiery explosion. Thanos stares in awe at the ruinous grandeur, with nothing left but debris. Galactus grabs his attention, which Thanos claims is the very definition of destruction. Thanos believes that if he controlled Galactus, the entire universe would quickly bow before him. Thanos plans on capturing Silver Surfer, thinking that if anyone knows the secrets to Galactus, it would be his herald. Silver Surfer continues his search when he is suddenly blinded by a bright light followed by an enormous explosion. He spots a nearby planet and is surprised it has bright lights and an abundance of plant life. He believes the planet has an abundance of energy befitting his master, when suddenly he is hit by a powerful blast from a volcano. Although he manages to escape, a tornado forms and traps him, covering him completely in ice. When he wakes up, a face emerges on a mountain and declares itself to be Ego, the living planet. Suddenly, Thanos arrives and uses his powers to enter Silver Surfer's mind. He demands Silver Surfer reveal the secret to controlling his master, but when he refuses, Thanos forcefully opens the seal in his mind to reveal a glimpse of his forgotten memories. When Thanos discovers that he is from Zenn-La, he breaks down, unable to cope with the past trauma of his time there. He retreats to his ship, to which Ego is grateful to Silver Surfer for freeing him from Thanos' control. Having recovered his memories, the Silver Surfer confronts Galactus, who, in his absence, has found a new planet to devour, Earth. Having known that his memories have been stolen and his soul taken, Silver Surfer confronts Galactus, but he brushes him off. Galactus claims that he will forgive him for failing to do his duties as he managed to find an abundant planet on his own. Silver Surfer demands his life back, explaining that he promised to serve him, not give up his past. He orders him to return his memories, but Galactus forcefully dismisses him, wanting to focus on feeding on the planet below. The Silver Surfer washes up on shore, to which U.S. Navy ships respond. He tries to convince them to evacuate the planet, but the Army instead finds him to be the one responsible for the attack on Earth. They fired their weapons, but they were ineffective against him. When he sees the humans, he is reminded of the people of Zenn-La, who share similar physical features. Silver Surfer later runs into civilians Frankie Ray and her friend, disgruntled teenagers who are furious at Galactus attacking Earth. When Frankie gets hit in the head, Silver Surfer uses his cosmic power to heal her, which they are surprised by. Having regained more of his memories, Silver Surfer confronts Galactus even at the risk of his own life. When he is running low on energy, Silver Surfer plans on recharging using the sun, but Galactus captures him in a bubble. Galactus was impressed at Silver Surfer, who would go so far as to risk his own life for people he barely knows. Silver Surfer claims that Earth reminds him of Zenn-La, and given time, it too could have become a refuge. He was surprised that Galactus spared Earth, which he explained was due to the Silver Surfer's efforts to save the planet, demonstrating courage and strength that even the mighty Galactus did not possess. Galactus claims that they can no longer trust each other and releases him from his servitude. He tells him to keep the cosmic power he gave him as a curse to see if he can overcome the fear and hatred of the people he tried to save. Later, Galactus finds Frankie, who has suddenly materialized on his ship. He quickly discovers that she has a rare gene triggered by cosmic power, enabling her to see whatever she seeks with unerring accuracy. He believes she has potential and decides to bestow upon her cosmic power to transform her into his new herald, Nova. Meanwhile, Silver Surfer returns to Zenn-La, but when he thinks he has found it, it suddenly disappears. Galactus appears before him and declares that although he has freed him, he never said he could return to Zenn-La. Watcher Watu claims that Galactus has moved Zenn-La and hidden it even from him. Silver Surfer vows to find Zenn-La and his beloved Shalla-Bal. Having learned that Galactus has hidden away his home planet, Silver Surfer goes on a rampage until he realizes the destruction he caused. He tries to amend by saving a space station that is on a collision course with a giant asteroid. When he hears a rumor that a survivor from Zenn-La is on a backwater Kree planet called Merovis, he quickly rushes to search for it. When he finally finds the planet, he is blocked by the Kree's defense systems, preventing him from advancing. When he thought he had passed their defenses, he was suddenly hit from behind and fell. He later regains consciousness and finds the troll slaves, Pip and Keely working. He was surprised to discover that he too had a slave collar on his neck. He tries to remove it by force, but it reacts and shocks him. Silver Surfer follows Pip and Keely to the mines when it suddenly collapses, and everyone falls off the side of the mountain. Remembering his master's teachings, Silver Surfer was able to break free of the collar, and he then used his powers to save everyone from falling to their deaths. Keely tells him that his master could only be in one place, the main base at Morovis Prime. Silver Surfer flies to a nearby moon where holographic images of the Kree caretakers greet him. He demanded that they free the people of Morovis, but the Kree claimed he was in no position to demand it. One of the caretakers explains that the people of Morovis are merely tools. Now that the collars can be overcome and they will no longer selflessly go about their tasks, the Kree have decided to terminate the slaves. Suddenly, a giant cannon fires a massive blast of energy at Morovis. An image of the Master appears before him and tells him it's not too late to save his friends. The Master claims that the blast is too powerful to block or absorb, so he suggests transmuting it, to which Silver Surfer changes the beam into rain. The Master explains that he left Zenla with a group of students on a pilgrimage when the Kree captured their ship. Since then, he became a member of the Combined Intelligence and forced to do things of unspeakable evil. The Master tells him goodbye, to which just then, the Morovis Prime facility blows up. Silver Surfer claims he will continue his search for his home when Pip asks to come along. He claims it's been long since someone treated him as a friend. With Keely's blessing, Pip sits in front of the board, to which Silver Surfer forms a bubble around him and together fly off into space. Silver Surfer and his new friend, Pip the Troll, run into Mentor and Drax the android after they have just been given the slip by the space pirate Nebula. Nebula stole the beacon that Mentor and Drax had been working on recovering, which would lead them to the Universal Library, a collection of all the knowledge amassed by the mysterious Watchers. With Nebula gaining a huge lead, Silver Surfer offers his help, claiming to have the ability to detect powerful energy sources, such as the beacon. Although the Watcher Uatu doesn't know where Zenla is, Silver Surfer hopes that the library will show him the way. When they come to a dead end, Silver Surfer detects traces of a plasma jump. During his time as Galactus's herald, he encountered it only once, which was a doorway for instantaneous transport to a star system millions of light years away. Mentor explains that the beacon would open the portal, allowing the ship to pass through. Without the beacon, Silver Surfer offers to perform that duty, but quickly realizes that it has latched onto his cosmic power. He tumbles inside the portal, screaming in pain as if being ripped apart. Drax tries to help him, blasting it with his power, but instead of stopping it, it only makes the portal bigger. Silver Surfer remembers the Master's teachings and fires a massive blast of energy from his body, regaining control of himself. He tells them to hurry, claiming that he is unsure of how long the portal will stay open. Once they crossed over, they found images of past Watchers and realized they were getting close. When Pip turns around, he sees Silver Surfer darker in appearance, as if having exhausted his very essence. They brought him back to the ship, and Mentor worries that he might not have long. Suddenly, a bright light shone from the sun, and Silver Surfer regained his energy, much to everyone's relief. Out of nowhere, another bright light shines on them from a structure. They immediately get flashes of images, with each flash faster than the last, eventually overwhelming them. Mentor suspects that these must be the sights and sounds that the Watchers have ever recorded. One by one, they slowly collapse, overwhelmed by the images. Meanwhile, the cosmic beings Eternity and Infinity appear before Uatu, who is surprised to be in the presence of living representations of time and space itself. Eternity explains that a crisis is approaching and believes that Silver Surfer may be the key to it all. His sister Infinity doesn't share his opinion, She worries that Silver Surfer's obsession to find Zenlaw may mean the end of not only himself, but the universe as well. Silver Surfer and the others finally arrive at the Universal Library, the homeworld of the Watchers. Silver Surfer wonders how the place became a ruin when, out of nowhere, giant viral globs emerge. Suddenly, Nebula and Guitar show up cornered by the viral globs that have overrun the place. When Drax remains unresponsive, Mentor suspects that he may have shut down and fears it may be his last, all because of Thanos. Silver Surfer recognizes the name, which Mentor explains is why he was searching for the library to obtain the knowledge to destroy Thanos once and for all. Silver Surfer tries to attack the giant viral blobs, but he gets caught when one sneaks up from behind him. Although he manages to break free, he struggles to defeat them and decides to take the others to find the index to the library. Mentor operates the console, but when they finally get it to work, they are surprised by the shocking revelation of what happened. The remaining Watcher, Uatu, explains that when an intergalactic plague struck, destroying the food supply for thousands of inhabited worlds, the Watchers worked tirelessly to create a cure. Unfortunately, their supposed cure had severe side effects, and the Watchers transformed into these viral globs. It didn't take long for everyone to get infected except for the last remaining Watcher, who was revealed to be immune to the infection. Suddenly, Nebula and Guitar transform into globs, as well as Mentor and Silver Surfer. The other globs come together to become one giant glob. Even though he was transformed into one, Silver Surfer is unable to merge with the others. He wonders why, to which a Watcher glob explains that his cosmic power is what's keeping him from uniting with the others. He asks Silver Surfer to renounce his powers so they can be one, but instead he reforms himself into what he once was. With his cosmic powers unable to revert them to their old forms, Silver Surfer, Pip, and Drax board Nebula's ship. Pip wonders why he and Drax weren't infected, which Silver Surfer suspects is because they were only helping him and Mentor, while they, unlike them, were searching the library for selfish reasons. Silver Surfer decides to go on their separate ways, explaining that he is not worthy of Pip's friendship, whose obsession with finding Zenlaw nearly risked him losing his life. Silver Surfer wanders by himself once again when he suddenly runs into a series of planets devastated by Thanos. According to the information at the library, the Dreamweaver of Zenlaw was taken to the planet Harmony. He hopes to use it to connect his thoughts to those of his people and learn where they are. He worries Thanos is headed next for Harmony and cuts him off, having bought enough time before Thanos arrives. Arriving at Harmony, Silver Surfer was surprised that most of its inhabitants were unresponsive. He warns them of the impending doom approaching the planet, but no one seems to care, too engrossed in their imaginations. He later discovers that the people of Harmony are using the gift to live in a perpetual dream. He turns the Dreamweaver off to wake them up. Instead, he receives painful feedback from the people who fall into a state of mass panic, refusing to return to reality. Silver Surfer is forced to turn it back on, and instead dives into the dream to confront them while they still have full control of their faculties. Entering the fantasy, Silver Surfer quickly understood why they would rather stay in that fantasy world, where everyone is given ideal looks, bodies, and even superpowers. Suddenly, he is confronted by one of their heroes, Beta Ray Bill, who challenges him to a fight. Silver Surfer tries to convince him, but being in that fantasy world, he too forgets why he went there. Beta Ray Bill claims that nothing the Dreamweaver has created could defeat them unless he's a genuine person. When Silver Surfer suggests turning off the Dreamweaver, Beta Ray Bill attacks him, refusing to end what they have built there. Silver Surfer eventually convinces him, claiming that everything is fake and that what they are doing is merely an escape from reality. After coming to their senses, Beta Ray Bill claims they don't have any way to fight after how low they've sunk into relying on the Dreamweaver. Silver Surfer suggests using the Dreamweaver on Thanos to make him feel like he's fulfilled. Thanos quickly sees a dream in which he has destroyed Harmony, and his beloved Lady Chaos has finally come to life. Thanos leaves the star system fulfilled, believing he will spend the rest of his days with his beloved, but is disappointed when he discovers it was all but a dream. Silver Surfer continues his journey to search for Zenn-La, fearing it may be endless. Out of nowhere, he finds a gravity well, nature's most destructive force, capable of sucking even the most powerful celestial beings into it. He tries to fight it, but eventually gets sucked in. When he thinks he has died, he suddenly finds himself in an unfamiliar galaxy. He is surprised to meet Nova, Galactus' new herald, who enlists his help to save their master. Nova explains that they met before, back on Earth, a person who goes by the name Frankie Ray before she became a herald. The Silver Surfer is appalled that he is being asked to help save Galactus, the reason why he is suffering now. Nova explains that if Galactus dies, so does everyone whose cosmic power he has touched. He wonders how she found him, to which Nova explains that she always finds what she is looking for, a rare genetic trait that was awakened when Silver Surfer healed her with his cosmic power. Silver Surfer finds Galactus in a weakened state. However, even then, he refuses to accept his help, still resentful for betraying him. Silver Surfer believes that it would be for the good of everyone if they let Galactus die. But Nova argues that was all in the past. Ever since she became a herald, she made sure Galactus only feeds on planets that have no intelligent life. Silver Surfer suggests going inside Galactus to find the infection and fight it off. Galactus claims there is a way, but worries that he'd lose both of them in one space jump, so he suggests Silver Surfer go alone. Silver Surfer agrees to help him in exchange for the location where he hid Zenn-La, which he agrees to. Inside, Silver Surfer navigates into Galactus's body with Nova's help. She suspects the infection to be in the spinal cord, but when he was approaching, it suddenly cut him off. As he grows closer to the source of the disease, Silver Surfer also grows weaker. He finally reaches the source and discovers this so-called infection is the essence of the world Galactus consumed. Silver Surfer asks Galactus to give him his remaining cosmic power so he can fight off and defeat the Scourge. Meanwhile, Lord Glenn and the Wanderers hear rumors that Galactus is dying and defenseless. Gamora of the Wanderers leads an assault team to attack Galactus, but Nova gathers the strength to fend them off, buying time for Silver Surfer to defeat the infection inside. The Wanderers launch an all-out attack on Galactus, but he recovers his strength when Silver Surfer defeats the Scourge inside his body. Galactus then sends out a powerful energy wave that obliterates everything hit with it, forcing the Wanderers to retreat. With the battle over, Galactus orders Nova to find another planet for him to consume, claiming that the Great Hunger is upon them. Silver Surfer wonders if Nova's so-called ability to find whatever she seeks can help him find Zenn-La, to which she agrees. Nova offers to help Silver Surfer search for Zenn-La. Still, before she does, she carries out her duties as a herald to find a planet for Galactus to consume. Once done, Nova uses her instincts to search for Zenn-La and believes that she is honed in on it. When they jump into a portal, Silver Surfer is surprised by hundreds of pulsar bombs around the planet. He explains that Skrulls use them to prevent the escape of convicts from prison worlds. When they insist on pressing onward, Skrull ships pursue and start shooting at them. They manage to take down Nova, but when they were about to finish her off, the enemy ships retreated. Silver Surfer checked on Nova and was surprised to find similar structures to those of Zenla. They later meet with Neter, the caretaker of a Skrull planet. Neter explains that they are on Skrullos, an ancient Skrull homeworld, where they train newborns to become fighters in a Skrull revolution that is tearing apart the world of the Shape-Changers. Silver Surfer was surprised that the Hive Mother was nowhere present. Neter reveals that Prime Minister Kiar and Admiral Zedrau usurped the previous Hive Mother and had her killed. He explains that the Hive Mother had grown increasingly angry over their lack of victory during the war, so she was planning to remove them and destroy their entire nests. He explains that without the Hive Mother, the Skrulls have no future. That said, Neter asks them to protect the royal egg, which is to become the next Hive Mother, worried that the usurpers would imprison her or raise her to become their puppet. Prime Minister Kiar orders Admiral Zedrau to attack the Hive, worried that Neter is colluding with Silver Surfer and Nova to overthrow him. Silver Surfer and Nova escape with Neter and the royal egg into space. Neter explains that shock troopers use a special gas that knocks out their target, which is effective even against celestial beings such as them. Nova eventually loses control and falls back to the ground, where she and Neter are captured. Silver Surfer catches the egg in mid-air and escapes with it. After Silver Surfer escapes with the egg, Admiral Zedrau explains that they have discovered Nova was the one who selects which planets Galactus feeds on. He suggests using her to lure Galactus into attacking Kree planets. Suddenly, Silver Surfer makes contact and proposes a trade with the royal egg for Nova, which they eagerly accept. Nova is disappointed in Silver Surfer, but he claims that he didn't give them the egg. He explains that he transmuted a pulsar bomb into an egg and suggests escaping before the Skrulls realize. Silver Surfer starts to wonder if Galactus is right and if he is indeed cursed to be forever alone. Out of nowhere, he is attacked in space. He tries fighting back, but he quickly finds himself caught in a web of energy. He tries to break free, but Gamora's image appears before him and explains that the webbing takes its energy directly from him. Suddenly, Wanderer ships arrive and take the captured Silver Surfer inside. Silver Surfer is brought before the Wanderers, who demand they punish him for his crimes. Lord Glenn of the Draconians declares that he stands on trial, accused of his crimes against life as the former Herald of Galactus. He claims the Wanderers are refugees from countless worlds to which he led Galactus to feed. With Gamora as the prosecutor, they assign Torquay, a Virgilian, to be his defending counsel. Although she prefers to prosecute him herself, Torquay claims she has devoted her life to justice and will continue to do so. Gamora makes her case before everyone, painting Silver Surfer as liable for the crimes, but Torquay argues that he was not the prime mover of the tragedy and was merely a victim of Galactus's inexorable force. Silver Surfer explains that he joined Galactus to pay a debt for sparing his world. He planned to lead Galactus to only uninhabited planets, but Galactus took away his memories, thus forgetting his promise. He wonders how can he expect them to forgive him when he can't even forgive himself. After making their statements, the tribunal deemed him guilty and passed judgment to have him executed. To share the same fate as those worlds consumed by Galactus, they banished him to a desolate world close to extinction. By channeling the energy of twin suns, Gamora claims they've created a storm that should be interacting with unique elements in the planet's atmosphere. Silver Surfer was surprised that lava could hurt him, to which Lord Glenn explained that they had used the sun's energy to separate the cosmic power within him, turning him back into Norrin Radd, a fragile human being. Despite being vulnerable to the elements, Norrin pushes himself and overcomes the traps the Wanderers have prepared for him, which even impresses Gamora with his tenacity. Suddenly, Ivar reports that the energy converter is malfunctioning and worries that the sun will explode, creating a massive black hole that will crush everything pulled into it with its gravitational force. Awaiting their fate, Norrin realizes what's happening, and despite being enemies, he decides to help them. After shutting down the converter, Norrin regains his cosmic power and transforms into the Silver Surfer again. He then quickly flies into space and transmutes the black hole into a plasma jump, saving those who have condemned him to death. Tired of wandering aimlessly, Silver Surfer decides to approach the Kree for help in searching for Zenn-La. He thought he could waltz in, but was stopped by the planet's defense systems. Kree ships intercept and start shooting at him. Prime Minister Zarek claims that reports state Silver Surfer no longer works with Galactus and welcomes him to Kreelar, the capital planet of the Kree and home of the Supreme Intelligence. Silver Surfer explains that he hopes to ask the Supreme Intelligence for the location of the elusive Zenn-La. Zarek claims that the Supreme Intelligence is the collective consciousness and the absolute ruler of the Empire. If he wants an audience with the Supreme Intelligence, Zarek proposes he do something for them in exchange. Zarek asks him to investigate the sudden disappearance of General Koval and his men. Silver Surfer flies out to the last known location of General Koval's ship and discovers a space anomaly. He was surprised to find an empty space on the other side when suddenly, Kree ships appeared out of nowhere, and Adam Warlock confronted them by himself. Silver Surfer claims that this is not his battle, but when enemy ships shoot at him, he is forced to fire back. When they defeat all of them, the battle starts anew, as if nothing happened. When there is no end to the battle, Silver Surfer tricks Adam Warlock into escaping and explains that he has been trapped in a time anomaly, fighting the same battle over and over. When he refuses to believe him, Adam flies out to discover his planet is in ruins. He claims he remembers Kree attacking them, but since they were a planet of scientists, the High Evolutionary created him out of the most potent DNA to become their champion. Silver Surfer suggests asking the Supreme Intelligence for an explanation of what happened. The Supreme Intelligence invites them both to an audience. He claims that although they declare themselves to be masters of genetic manipulation, even they reached a plateau they couldn't surpass. Now that Adam is before them, Supreme Intelligence plans on capturing him so they can study his body and make their race truly invincible. Silver Surfer refuses to leave Adam behind and escapes with him. Just when they thought they had no way of knowing, the Kree's analytical belt, which Silver Surfer wore, reveals what happened. It retells that Adam Warlock returns victorious in the battle against the Kree. Since then, many citizens feared him, worried he would turn against them, so they decided to lock him away in a temporal anomaly where he would relive his great battle for eternity. Many disagreed with the decision and worried they would need him again. So opposing sides created warriors of their own until everyone was destroyed. Silver Surfer asks Adam to join him, but he chooses to return to the anomaly where he can fight his forever war, forget, and live on in honor, knowing that he protected his planet. Silver Surfer is still recovering from his last encounter with the Kree when he finds himself caught in a war between the Kree and Skrull. Although he knows it is an endless battle, Silver Surfer still decides to intervene when he suddenly gets hit with a communication beam from a nearby planet. When both armies neglect the call for help, Silver Surfer rushes to their aid. When he approaches the planet, he discovers it is plagued by fractites, inanimate forces of nature that drain energy from any source they encounter. Even he gets caught in it, but when he tries to break free, it completely traps him in ice. Fighting it only makes the fractites stronger when he is suddenly reminded of a saying from Zenn-La that gave him the idea to break free. He supercharged it with his cosmic power, causing a chain reaction of explosions that left nothing behind. Silver Surfer checks the inhabitants when he suddenly feels a strong sense of familiarity with the place and realizes it is Zenn-La. He is overjoyed to be reunited with his beloved Shalabal finally. The inhabitants of Zenlaw throw a feast for Silver Surfer's return, having saved them not only once. He tells them the grave news of the Master's passing, to which Darwick Merle, a fellow student of the Master and a Zenlavian, declares that Silver Surfer should be their new master, to which everyone agrees. When Silver Surfer is unsure, Darwick suddenly changes his mind and challenges him to a trial by combat. Silver Surfer claims that such traditions are ancient, and even if he did accept, it wouldn't be a fair fight, as he possesses cosmic powers. Shalabal convinces him to renounce his powers, claiming that he no longer needs them. After reverting to Norin Rad, Darwick jumps at him, and they both fall from the cliff and into the river below. When they nearly drown, Norin Rad calls for his board and is surprised to find that he still possesses his cosmic powers, later realizing that this was all an illusion. Silver Surfer realizes that the only thing capable of altering and molding an entire planet is Ego, to which he reveals himself. Ego explains that he felt grateful after freeing him from Thanos, and now, with the Fractites. He wanted Silver Surfer to be happy and is giving him what he most desired. Ego claims that when Fractites plagued him, it prevented him from moving away, realizing that he needed a protector. He tries to prevent him from escaping, but Silver Surfer absorbs Ego's core to break free. Worried that Ego is dying, Silver Surfer uses his cosmic power to save him, even though he just tried imprisoning him. Watcher Watu approaches Silver Surfer and claims that he is the harbinger of greater entities, eternity, the essence of time, and his sister, infinity, the essence of space. Together, they are the universe personified, created by the collective minds of all sentient beings that have ever lived. Infinity explains that a malignant force has gained the power to cause the time to turn backward, and soon the entire cosmos will be affected. Eternity worries that if not stopped, all creation will end even before it begins. Infinity claims they are unable to use their powers directly to interfere, afraid that they'd cause the very catastrophe that they are trying to stop. To that end, they must use a champion to which they have chosen him to act in their stead. Eternity explains that Silver Surfer, whose existence in time and space has already been wrenched from him, will not be affected by the reversals that occur. Before they disappear, they reveal that the agent of destruction is someone he already knows, Thanos. Silver Surfer seeks out his former master to enlist his help, but is surprised that even the mighty Galactus and his Herald Nova are not immune to the effects of the time reversal. Galactus grows furious, assuming that Silver Surfer is the cause, when he sees he is not affected by what's happening to them. Nova chooses to side with Silver Surfer and explains that it is not Galactus's fault, as he acts crazier the hungrier he gets. She explains that they are trapped in a time loop when Galactus was draining the planet's energy, but not before absorbing it himself. Unable to free them of the time loop, Silver Surfer decides to go by himself. Meanwhile, Thanos explains how he came upon such a fascinating destructive force and discovers that it was an interdimensional nexus, the source of all energy everywhere. Because of the primal nature, the energy is inextricably woven with time, making it possible for him to manipulate one by controlling the other. Thanos realizes he can no longer continue with his scattershot approach, and instead contains the entire fountain, beaming it out to destroy the whole universe at once. Witnessing thousands of worlds fall victim to the reversal of time, Silver Surfer convinces Eternity to use his power while they still can. Running out of time, Eternity decides to send Silver Surfer where Thanos is. Silver Surfer later finds a place with so much energy and suspects that this must be the force behind Thanos' field. He tries to destroy it when Thanos' ship emerges out of nowhere. When their powers clashed, it resulted in a massive explosion that caused the universe to contract around him. When it appears that Silver Surfer dies in his battle with Thanos, eternity and infinity wonder if all has been lost. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.